right, well, welcome. Thanks for joining us for the Edmonton Police Service information session. So we're going to take about the next 30 minutes just to go through a few things about the role of a police officer, our values, some basics, benefits, the application process, the recruit training overview, and we'll let you know how to ask questions and reach out to us. My name is Constable Kate Johnson, and this is my partner, Constable Ariana Martin.
All right, we're going to cover off the role of a police officer quick before we get into things. So EPS police officers provide a uniformed community-based presence. Our main role is to maintain social order, keep the peace, enforce municipal, provincial, and federal laws. We attend court and prevent crime. Addressing matters of public safety and responding to the dynamic needs of the communities in Edmonton. This career is anything but your typical 9 to 5, and no 2 days can be the same.
So what we value, what you should bring. Our service reflects the diversity of Edmonton's dynamic growing communities with over 1 million people. So as you know, in the last 5 years or so, the population of Edmonton has exploded very diversely as well. So a career provides an opportunity to serve with compassion and understanding that there'll be complex and at times some very challenging situations that you'll have to deal with. We value the identities of our members, your different ideas, perspectives, education, skills, culture, and much more. So our main goal is to recruit and hire the best possible individuals as the next generation of police officers for Edmonton.
All right, who we're looking for? We're looking for compassionate, community-minded leaders that reflect the diverse communities of Edmonton and values of the EPS. So yeah, at the end of the day, we're looking for people that display compassion and empathy toward others. This is a tough job, and people don't particularly call us when they're having a good time. Keeping a positive attitude is very, very important. We're looking for people that also display leadership and concise decision making. We want to see people step out of their comfort zone and take a leadership role in whatever it is they're doing whenever appropriate. And concise decision making, that comes whether it's investigative or operational or very, very quickly. Police officers are required to make concise decisions very, very quickly. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle is a part of not only our process, but well beyond our process. Constable Johnson and I are currently carrying about 25 to 30 pounds worth of gear right now. It can be a long career if you are not maintaining any sort of a healthy lifestyle. Good interpersonal communication skills. Policing is a large percentage of just communicating. So you've got to be able to talk to people, interact with all kinds of people on a day-to-day basis. Being flexible and adaptable. Policing training or changes at the drop of a hat, whether it's a scheduling change or a late call or a service level call that now turns into something more urgent, things like that. We are required to be flexible and adaptable at all times. And being a team player. The Edmonton Police Service is very much like a big team. You're never really doing anything on your own, and you can always lean into whether it's your squad mates or your partner, your management, or whatever, for whatever you need or you're working toward.
So some basics, our patrol schedule is a 10 to 12 hour shift rotations. We'll get into that in a minute on the next slide, but you'll be working 4 days consecutive of the same shift in a 4-day on, 4-day off rotation pattern. So there's some exemptions. Obviously you're gonna have to do some mandatory training days throughout the year. There's some of those which are on top of those 4 days on, and then also mandatory court. So once you start to get into taking files, arresting people, you're gonna have court dates that you're gonna have to appear for those, which are gonna be mandatory for you. So as I said, we have that shift rotation. So you're looking at your first watch shift is going to be a 10-hour shift. You're going to do that for 4 days on, and then you're going to have 4 days off. The next shift is going to be your 12-hour shift, early third. You're going to do that for 4 days on and 4 days off. The nice thing about that early third is that first hour between 11 a.m. and noon is a paid workout. So you'll come into work, you'll get your workout in one of the gyms, and then you'll start your shift at noon. Then you'll go on to your second watch after your 4 days off, which is going to be an 11-hour shift. Then you'll have your 4 days off again, and then 4 days on for your late third watch, which is another 12-hour shift.
All right, the salary structure. This is available online as well. You can find this at joineps.ca. We won't break it all down, but your first year as a constable, and keep in mind that your first year starts the day you start training with us. So even as a recruit, your first day, you're already making your $81,923 annually, and there's a nice 5-year or 5 increments all the way up to your 5th year. You'll see when you get up to that senior constable level 1 or 8 years complete, and again at 11, you'll get a nice bump as well. And then you'll see the 2 promoted ranks near the bottom there. So sergeant detective, which is the same rank all the way across, and a staff sergeant there as well. So again, this is available online if you want to canvass it a little further. So like I said, salary structure is pay training. So you are getting paid from the day of hire essentially. When you start recruit class there at, well, give or take, we'll say $82,000 per year. There's a full pension after 25 years of service. And a little note about job security, we cannot forecast the future. However, the last time there was talk of layoffs in EPS was in the 1980s. Members at that time decided to take a pay cut to save the existing jobs. Earning potential. The earning potential really is close to unlimited here. You can work almost as much as you want to. All court time outside of your regular scheduled hours or shifts will provide anywhere from 4 to 8 hours of pay. So we are compensated for attending court as long as it's outside of our regular scheduled shifts. Any extra duty detail, which we used to formerly call special duties, so things like concerts, public events, festivals, things like that, where you see police walking around, that is typically extra duty detail. That's paid out at $117.12 per hour. There's also a shift differential. So for your late afternoon or night shifts, you're seeing an extra $1.10 to $1.20 per hour. Doesn't seem like a lot, it does add up over time. All overtime is paid out at double time, so anything outside of your regular scheduled shifts is double time, and all statutory holidays worked are double time plus 8 hours. So we like to refer to this as a triple time.
So some points on our health and wellness. So all divisions have gyms accessible for members 24/7. So you can access those gyms on your days off. You can access them before shift or after shift. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you can definitely go to the gym. So yeah, anytime you want. Those gyms are fully equipped. Every division has a very nice gym that you can work out in with pretty much any type of equipment you can think of. We have our value unit, which is our fitness and active lifestyle unit. They can develop personalized fitness plans based on whatever fitness goals you have at the time. Maybe you want to be a better runner, maybe you want to be able to lift more weight, maybe you're getting ready to want to apply to a specialized unit where your physical fitness level has to be very high. But whatever that is, even as a recruit going through training, that value unit is going to do an individualized, personalized plan just for you that you can work through while you're going through your recruit training. So it's a very good tool to kind of have for the members to be able to continue their fitness goals and continue their fitness throughout their careers. We also have a nutritionist, so if you're unsure of how to maybe prepare for shift work, how to prepare meals for shift work, what you should eat, because once you start working nights, there's a certain plan you should sort of follow in order to keep energized and healthy throughout the evenings. So if you're unsure how to do that, you can reach out to your nutritionist and work with them, and they can develop sort of a meal plan for you. We also have a good corporate rate at Good Life Fitness. So if you live out of town, maybe you don't want to drive into the city on your days off to go to one of our divisional gyms, you can get a discount at Good Life Fitness. I believe it's about $25 a month. It used to be. It might have gone up since inflation, but it's a good rate there for Good Life Fitness. So we also have our Blue Cross benefits coverage at 80%. And on top of that, our healthcare spending account, which is about $10.80 a year. So you're allotted that for anything above and beyond that Blue Cross benefits aren't covering. We have an in-house massage therapist and physiotherapist. They actually also do acupuncture, and that's available to us for free as a member. All you have to do is book the appointments. We have our member support services and chaplain, which includes our counseling. So if you're having difficulties with something, maybe you need to reach out and have a chat with somebody. Maybe there's a call that you went to that was really difficult to deal with. Our counseling services are there for you. It's anonymous, so all you have to do is look through a list of our preferred providers. Choose someone that you think would be a good fit for you. I think there's about 50 to 80 providers there on that list. Reach out to them and make an appointment and just meet with them and have a chat. Those counseling services are also available to your family, so all of this coverage benefits also extend to your family. If your spouse or your kids might need to have a chat with someone, if they're dealing with something that's difficult, maybe adjusting to your shift work or something. So we also have our critical incident stress management. I'm going to let Constable Martin speak to that because she is actually one of our critical incident stress management people.
Yeah, super quickly, we've got a large team of members throughout the service that are a part of the CISM team is what we call it. Basically, we are a peer support network. So we kind of get a layout of some of the more critical or dynamic calls that come in on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. And we touch base with those members that have responded to those calls just to check in with them. Again, we're kind of, I mean, it is 100% anonymous, that kind of thing, but we're able to set up those members that maybe require a little bit more than just conversation with a peer, maybe with one of our preferred providers or counselors or the chaplain or our member support services if they need. Work-life balance and the extracurriculars, I'm not gonna lie, there's so much going on here all the time. I don't even really know the extent of all of it. However, shift work certainly has its benefits. There is a 4-on, 4-off schedule, particularly when you're with patrol. There are some other units that operate that way as well. So having 4 days off in the middle of the week or over the course of a weekend or whatever, that will change all of the time, and it's awesome. So the EPS has various sports teams that you can be a part of. So we've got a couple hockey teams, soccer, cricket, I believe we have jiu-jitsu, things like that. There's multiple things going on all the time that you can be as involved in as you want to be. We've got the pipes and drums. We've got the Guard of Honor. We've got a historical unit as well, which is kind of done off the side of people's desks. So the historical unit is something where we kind of have worked to preserve some of the things that have come through the EPS over the years, whether it's vehicles or certain types of equipment or whatever. It's all about the evolution of policing and the Edmonton Police Service. We do have a choir, and we also have a property just kind of southwest of Edmonton that belongs to our Edmonton Police Association, otherwise known as Blue Meadows. That offers an opportunity for members to go out there and camp. It's for the membership and their families only. It's just off the river kind of thing, and it's got a beautiful kind of, I guess, chalet, log cabin on site, that kind of thing. People can either rent or host weddings, receptions, celebrations, whatever at. It's a beautiful piece of property. It also offers baseball diamonds. I think there's a soccer field out there, pickleball, basketball, whatever. There's lots going on out there.
Yeah, so it's equipment provided. So everything that you see on myself and Constable Martin is all provided to you. Our vests, our uniform, our accoutrements that go onto our belt. So that's the free initial issue of the uniforms that we receive when we're going through training. The only thing we don't get is our boots, but we do get a yearly clothing allowance. We do get a yearly clothing allowance that goes to paying for our boots, which is about $580, almost $600, so that you can go out and buy whatever boots you seem fit at the time. We have a yearly clothing allowance point system, so if you rip your pants jumping over a fence or something, you can just go in with those ripped pants and exchange them for new ones. Maybe you want a new flashlight or a different flashlight or a new pair of gloves. Those are all things that you can get through our materials management branch. Yeah, and you just go down there. It's sort of like a stores that house all of our equipment and clothing, and you just go down there and get what you need. The value of that is about $400 a year, but I've never used all of my points. I don't know if you have, but never have I used them all. So some of the perks that we have as benefits is our shift work as 4-on, 4-off, and the Edmonton Police Association. So the Edmonton Police Association takes care of our collective bargaining team. They support and represent members. So if you're dealing with a complaint, then the Edmonton Police Association will make sure that you're taken care of and represented properly. If you need a lawyer or something like that, the Edmonton Police Association will cover that. So we have our Blue Meadows property as well, which is owned by the Edmonton Police Association. Constable Martin already spoke about what that is. And then we also have our EPS Family Association. So if your spouse or members of your family want to connect with other spouses or other members of police officers' families, then they can reach out. I believe it's just through a Facebook webpage that they mostly communicate, but they do all sorts of planned events and things like that throughout the year. If there's been a major life event, then you can reach out to the association, and they usually put together baskets or some type of appreciation or card, depending on what that life event is. So yeah, a lot of support here at the Edmonton Police Service.
All right, there are over 100 different options within the Edmonton Police Service. So being a police officer, sure, that's your career, but there's 100 different options within that career. So there's still units that I am unfamiliar with, or units that kind of pop up to do different things or whatever, but it's really, really neat. So after approximately 5 years of patrol, that's where you're going to build the foundation of your policing career. That's where you're going to learn how to respond appropriately, investigate, things like that, the operational side, the investigative side. That's where you learn the bread and butter of policing. And this is just a fraction of some of the units that we have across the Edmonton Police Service. So things like tactical section, we have crime scene investigation units, which is like our CSI, if you ever watched a show like that. We've got child abuse, we've got canine section, major collision investigation section, surveillance, we've got community relations, we've got community engagement teams, we have recruiting and selection section like Constable Johnson and Iron, we have recruit training section, we have tactics training unit, we have all kinds of things, school resource officer, and I mean, it goes on and on and on. Like I said, I can't, there's no way I can name them all, that's for sure. So that's really cool. Over the course of your first 5 years, you kind of find a little bit of a niche in what you like and that kind of thing, and you can start to kind of tailor your career towards something maybe you want to do. Everybody coming into policing is like, yes, this is my end goal, this is where I want to be, and once they start to learn about it, they're like, I don't want to do that at all, I actually want to do this, which is really, really cool. And there's options to move throughout your career and to do different things, which is really, really neat. So there's also options to move upward in the rank structure. So if you're choosing to promote after a certain amount of time, you can also do that. There are exams and interviews to get promoted to sergeant, detective, and beyond also.
So the application process, how can you prepare for that? So the big one we say is develop and protect your character and make good life decisions. So what you want to do is look at your life, you want to look at the people that you surround yourself with, and you kind of want to ask yourself, like, how do I make sure that I'm making good life choices? And am I surrounding myself with people who make good life choices? So if maybe there's some people in your life right now that, or you're linked to on Facebook or one of your social media accounts that maybe don't make the best life choices, and you want to become a police officer, you might want to think about making different decisions about who you allow in your life and who you allow to surround yourself with. Go through those social media accounts, delete those people who maybe aren't the best influence that you don't need to surround yourself with. Maybe you want to delete a social media account completely because it just doesn't fit with your morals and values anymore. So make sure you're making those good life choices if you're thinking about this as a career. Start volunteering. So we don't need to see thousands of hours, and volunteering can be within anything. There's so many things that you can do in your community, whether it's helping out at a church, maybe it's helping out at the local community center, maybe you're volunteering to teach Little League, maybe you help out at a soup kitchen every now and again. Maybe it is something bigger and you do some part-time volunteer at maybe the Hope Mission or something like that. The big thing is just start volunteering, start reaching out, doing little things here and there for your community, and that's what we want to see people doing. You need to have driving experience. A big part of this career, especially the first part of it, is going to be driving. That's going to be your office, is in your car. So you need to be comfortable in busy urban conditions in an SUV. Is an asset, but it's not necessary. Just being familiar with how to drive in all sorts of different traffic and all sorts of different weather. Make sure you're living a healthy lifestyle. That includes maintaining a healthy diet, training physically to be competitive, and keeping a positive attitude. All of these things are going to be things that you're going to bring with you into your career, which you should bring with you to your career, and that you're going to want to keep up throughout your career so that you can have a long and what am I trying to say here? Successful, there's the word. A long and successful career. Yeah, so a big thing that I want to just touch on is that train physically to be competitive. This is a competitive process that you're entering into if you're putting in an application. So the more competitive you can be, the better. Physically, you don't want to just be squeaking by on that physical fitness test, which we're going to get to later and talk a little bit about. You want to be competitive, because once you get into class, the last thing you want to worry about is your physical fitness level. That's something that you're going to want to have kind of nailed down, so that all of the other stuff that you're going to be learning during class, you can kind of take in and concentrate on, instead of having to worry about that physical part of things. So there's a lot of things you can do to train physically to be competitive, and there's a lot of information and tips and things we can give you on that, which we will talk about later on.
All right, the minimum requirements to enter into our process, and keep in mind these are the minimum requirements, okay? You can reach out to a recruiter to go above and beyond the minimum requirements if you need to. You must be at least 18 years of age or older at the time of application, okay? We do get a lot of questions, what's the age limit? There is no age limit. You just have to be a minimum of 18 years or older at the time of application, okay? Possess a grade 12 diploma or equivalent. You must be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada, okay? You must have a valid Class 5 non-GDL driver's license with no more than 5 demerits, okay? Current standard first aid and CPR level C. You will need to have that prior to class, and although it looks like you must have it upon application, we will let you enter the application process, and it's something you will have to obtain before you are offered employment with the Edmonton Police Service. We can cover that off later. You must not have a criminal conviction for which a pardon has not been granted. I think that speaks for itself, okay? And no criminal activity detected or undetected within 3 years, okay? We do want some separation from any criminal activity, right? There's obviously kind of the extreme versions of criminal activity, and maybe some less so, but you can talk with a recruiter if you have any concerns about that. But we are looking for some separation between any criminal activity detected or undetected. And just to cover the undetected criminal activity is anything that is criminal that you haven't been caught for, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's like, oh, I've done this, that's technically breaking the law, but no one followed up, never spoke to the police, no harm, no foul, that kind of thing. Okay, we will look into that. We will talk to you about that, and that is a thing here, okay? And you must meet the vision and hearing medical standards, okay? So this is all available online as well. You will have to book an appointment with your optometrist as well as your audiologist. Those are provincial standards. Those are not things that we can bend on, and those things have to be done prior to submitting your application. So with the application expenses, you are responsible for obviously covering off your vision testing, your hearing testing, your CPR first aid certification. You can see there's EPS Recruits. I believe it's EPS Recruits 2025 now. It'll likely change to EPS Recruits 2026 here shortly. When you're looking for a bit of a discount when going through St. John's, you don't have to use St. John's, however, it just has to be that first aid certification, CPR level C. Your high school post-secondary transcripts, typically you do have to pay for those, and your driver's abstract as well. So that's what you're responsible for covering the expenses of.
So in a minute here, we're going to go through what the application process looks like in detail, but these are the stages of our application process. So you can see there's 8 of them. And you have to start with your written test, which is that APCAT provincial standard test. So that's stage 1 of our process here. Stage 2, you're going to do your online application. Stage 3 is your A-PREP, that's that physical fitness test. Stage 4 is going to be a behavioral descriptive interview. So that's going to be a panel interview where you're going to have to deliver answers to questions. Stage 5 is going to be your PDI interview with your file manager. Stage 6 is a polygraph examination. Stage 7 is going to be your psych and medical examination. And stage 8, the final stage, is going to be your background investigation. So for out-of-province applications, your process is a little bit different. Stage 1, if you can do it, if we happen to be in your province, which we do travel province to province, and you're able to do that APCAT written test while we're there, that's awesome if you can get that out of the way. If not, you can still put in an application online. Once you're done that online application, we're going to contact you and reach out, and you're going to be doing your online behavioral descriptive interview. So that's going to be virtually over Teams before you even come out here to go through the rest of the process. So once you pass that online behavioral descriptive interview, then you're going to come out here, and if you haven't done your written testing already, you're going to have to do that written test. So you'll come out here for 1 week, you'll go through your written test, your physical fitness readiness evaluation, so that physical fitness test. You'll do your personal disclosure interview with your file manager, your polygraph, your psych and medical, and then you'll go home and your background investigation will be done by our background investigators while you're at home. So yeah, it's a very condensed process that we offer for our out-of-province people. That's to kind of get the minimum and time costs that you need to spend in our application process down. And if you are successful and hired, there is a reimbursement of up to $1,000 for moving allowance. So that's something that we offer for you to be able to move here from a different province.
All right, so our stage 1, so the written testing or the ABCAT, okay? So the Alberta Police Cognitive Abilities Test. We host an open test right every Tuesday morning and every second Saturday of the month. That's all available online. Pop on, register for the test. You can take it, it's free of charge, that kind of thing. Spend some time looking over what kind of material will be on the test. Okay, that is also online. There is a 30-minute memory test or study guide. Okay, after 30 minutes, we will take that study guide from you and you will answer 120 multiple choice questions in 2 hours and 15 minutes after that initial 30-minute memory test or study guide, okay? You will require a 70% to pass this exam. That's 84 of 120. And there are unlimited attempts with deferral periods after each unsuccessful attempt, okay? So after your first unsuccessful attempt, it's a 1-month deferral. After your second attempt, it's a 3-month deferral. After your third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and onward, it is 6-month deferral.
So stage 2 is our online application. So you're gonna go to apply now at apats.ca and you're gonna create an account. So this is a living document that you continue to work on until you're ready to submit. So it's not like you have to sit down and go through the whole thing in one session and then hit submit by the end. You can log off and log back onto your account when you want to work on it, because there's a lot of information that you're going to have to collect and get ready, and it's going to take you a couple weeks to get through that. There's going to be a personal disclosure form on there, which is about 102 questions, and it's going to talk about all sorts of things that maybe you might have done in your life. Maybe you stole a chocolate bar when you're 12 years old, so there's theft questions on there, there's violence questions on there, or assault questions on there. Maybe you got in a bar fight in your, earlier on in your life in your 20s or something, punched somebody, but that's all stuff that you're gonna have to disclose and talk about. So just be very honest and disclose everything that you can think of. So anything that kind of pops into your head, make sure you're disclosing all of that on that form. Because once you get to your PDI stage, which we'll talk about here, you're gonna have to talk about all that stuff before you go into your polygraph. So be as honest as you can up front. Try and remember as much as you can. Fill out that form as detailed as you can, so that once we get to our PDI phase, you can kind of talk to those things and explain the reasoning and why those things happen and the lessons you learned from them. So yeah, ensure you're ready for all stages before you hit submit on your application, because the rest of those stages can kind of come fairly quickly. So we have all sorts of things you can do ahead of time in order to prepare for those different stages, which we will talk about here.
All right, stage 3, the APREP. We're going to show you a little bit of a video of what the APREP looks like.
Policing demands many skills. Fast thinking and quick reactions are an important part of the job. That's why the APREP, or Alberta Physical Readiness Evaluation for Police Test, was developed as a standardized way to measure the physical ability of policing applicants in Alberta. The APREP consists of a series of job simulation tasks arranged in a pursuit restraint circuit, or PRC, as well as an assessment of aerobic fitness using the Leger 20-meter shuttle run. These are not tests of police procedure or defensive tactics. Rather, they are used to simply determine the physical ability of policing applicants. The pursuit restraint circuit is meant to simulate a foot chase. Each applicant will wear a 7.5 kilogram belt around their waist to simulate the weight of standard police equipment. They will then complete a continuous circuit, which includes the following: running 100 meters while scaling 4 sets of stairs and 2 1.52 meter fences, performing a simulation of the control and restraint of an offender, and finally, dragging a 68 kilogram mannequin a distance of 15 meters. Applicants must complete 4 laps of the PRC. They must go over the stairs on all 4 laps, touching a minimum of 1 step on the way up, touching the top of the platform, and touching 1 step on the way down. On the 2nd and 4th laps, applicants scale a 1.52 meter fence. After the 4th lap, applicants are cued to the body control simulator. This task simulates an altercation with an offender and should be performed in a controlled manner at an emergency pace. Starting in the center, applicants push the handle in and lift the 34-kilogram weight off the cradle. The handle is then pulled out, and they move to the far right until the arm of the machine comes in line with the base. The handle is pushed back in, moved to the center, and pulled back out. The applicant moves to the far left, pushes the handle in, moves to the center, and then releases the weight. Next, they move to the arm restraint simulator, which replicates the force required to grip and retract the arms of an offender. To complete this task, the applicant will grasp and squeeze both handles and bring the arms together until the collars touch. A force of 14.5 kilograms is required to depress each grip, and a force of 16 kilograms is required to retract each arm. The applicant then returns to the body control simulator to complete a second body control cycle, followed by a second arm retraction and release at the arm restraint simulator. Last, the applicant will grasp a 68-kilogram mannequin and drag it around the pylon and back for a total of 15 meters. This task simulates dragging a passive resistor or an accident victim to a triage area. The pursuit restraint circuit is scored as the total time to successfully complete the entire course. A meets standard time is 2 minutes and 10 seconds or less. Applicants are given a minimum of 10 minutes recovery time before beginning the Leger 20-meter shuttle run. This test is done to evaluate aerobic capacity. The objective is to follow a progressively faster pace over a 20-meter course. Applicants must reach the 20-meter end line at every audio signal. 1 foot must be on or over the line. Upon hearing the signal, the applicant reverses direction and heads to the opposite end in time for each signal. If the applicant fails to cross the warning line twice in a row when the signal sounds, their test is terminated.
6, your test is over.
A meet standard for the Leger 20-meter shuttle run is Stage 7. Applicants must meet the standard on both the pursuit restraint circuit and the Leger 20-meter shuttle run in order to successfully complete the APREP. Any questions regarding the APREP can be directed to your local policing agency.
Watch that video again. It is also on joineps.ca under the APREP. So just a quick recap, that PRC, or the pursuit restraint circuit, must be done in under 2 minutes and 10 seconds. There will be a 10-minute break, and then you have the 20-meter shuttle run, the beep test, or the Leger shuttle run. Minimum standard is level 7. We will stop the test at 7. Just keep in mind, in class, the average is about a level 9. So you do want to train beyond a level 7, no doubt about it. So applicants must successfully pass both the obstacle course and the beep test to pass. If unsuccessful, a deferral period will result, and your test is valid for 6 months.
Okay, so stage 4 or stage 2, if you're applying from out of town, is going to be your behavioral descriptive interview. So we call that the BDI. The BDI is a bit of a different kind of interview than maybe most people are used to. You're going to be sitting in front of a panel of 2 of our backgrounders, which are retired police officers, and they're going to be asking you questions based on these following 6 competencies that you can see there on your screen. The big thing with this is you are going to be doing most of the talking during this interview. There's going to be no follow-up questions to the answers that you give to these questions. So let's say you're on stress management. You might be asked something like, tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult situation or a stressful situation. What did that look like and how did you deal with it? So then you're going to have to take about 7 to 9 minutes and deliver an answer using our STAR technique. There is a workshop that we highly recommend you take. It's almost kind of a mandatory thing, although it's not, but we highly recommend you take it because it will greatly improve your ability to pass this stage and prepare for it. So you can take the workshop at any point. You can do it now before you even put in an application so that you can start working on what those answers are going to be from the last 3 to 5 years of your life, the examples that you'll have for each of those 6 questions. So prepare for it. Take a workshop. There's an in-person workshop. There's a virtual online workshop. Take the workshop. Take 1, take 2. It doesn't matter how many you take. But please prepare for this interview. We give you the tools to be ready for it. Please use those tools. It's free for you. So yes, there's some more information at the end of this as to how you sign up for that.
Stage 5, so our personal disclosure interview, or the PDI, not to be confused with BDI. You will be assigned a file manager at this point. So our job as file managers are to determine applicants' ethics and integrity. So like Constable Johnson mentioned, honesty is important. It's important throughout this entire process, okay? If you are found to be deceitful or omitting anything, it's obviously a negative impact toward your application and success throughout the rest of the process. It may also end up in a disqualification for you, okay? So 2 of the major things that you can control during this application process with the Edmonton Police Service is obviously honesty, be full, frank, and fair, honest about absolutely everything. That is in your control. And your fitness level, okay? You are also in control of that. So your file manager will go over your entire application and personal disclosure form with you. Some of the topics covered off are alcohol and drug use, driving, personal relationships, etc. You can expect this interview to be approximately 3 hours or longer, okay? When you're in touch with your file manager, they will prepare you for this interview.
So stage 6 is going to be our polygraph. So all of that information that you disclosed on your personal disclosure form, and then all of those things that you talked about during your PDI interview, that's all going to be utilized when doing your polygraph. So it's a truth verification interview. You sit in a chair, you're hooked up to the machines, kind of like you see on TV, where the typical lie detector test, but this is a truth verification interview. Just to confirm that you've been truthful throughout the application process so far. And yeah, they'll ask you questions based on those things.
All right, stage 7. So your psychological evaluation and your medical examination. Your psychological evaluation will be completed on a computer here in the office. There's a multiple choice exam. It sounds funny, it's not really an exam. There's nothing you're studying for it. There's no trickery to it or anything. It's just based on, here's a question, answer the first way you see fit. That's that kind of thing. It's just
pops in your head.
First thing that pops in your head, exactly. It's just a personality inventory, and there's a couple of them, okay? For your medical examination, it's conducted by a City of Edmonton contracted physician. Okay, both these stages are conducted by a contracted psychologist or a contracted physician. Again, that's kind of out of our wheelhouse, right? They report back to us and they determine whether you're psychologically fit for this job, or if you're medically or physically fit for this job.
Yeah, so stage 8, the final stage of our process, is the background investigation. So again, those retired members that did your BDI investigation, or your BDI interview, they're going to be doing your background investigation. So basically, they're going to look at the totality of your process so far, all of the information you've provided, the information that your file manager is providing, and they're going to reach out to some of your references. They may reach out to people in your life that you didn't reference, just to chat with them, to make sure that the information you've provided us through the process is truly who you are and how you represent yourself in public and with your family and with your friends. So yeah, that's what you can expect during that, as well as an enhanced security check and those credit checks to make sure that you're being financially responsible. It's fine if you have things like a house or a car. Like, we understand that there's obviously different types of debt, but we want to make sure that you're not getting into any type of negative debt that's going to have an impact or a negative impact on a policing career.
All right, so a little bit about recruit training. So your academy foundations, or what we like to call block 1, is approximately 28 weeks with 12 scenario training days. Okay, we're going to cover off police sciences training, so your criminal, provincial, municipal law, documentation and articulation training, all your investigative training, and we're also going to cover off your hard police skills training. So things like officer safety training, your firearms training, any of your driver training as well. And just keep in mind, you do not have to have any experience with a firearm coming into recruit training. We will teach you everything you need to know. I had no firearms experience whatsoever coming into this career. We do all your fitness training and testing throughout your recruit training, or block 1. There's also dress and deportment or foot drill we cover off during block 1, and there's a focus on experiential and contextual learning as well.
So after you've graduated from your block 1, you're going to move on to your block 2, which is you're going to be put into a patrol squad within one of our divisions, and you're going to be partnered up with a police training officer. So that police training officer is basically going to make sure that all of that information that you learned in block 1, you're now applying to the street, and you're going to be taking real 911 emergency calls You're going to be doing follow-up investigations, and you're going to be working closely with your patrol squad, which is between 8 to 10 officers, other officers in your squad, to respond to those calls for service. So obviously, you know, it's kind of taking small steps at the start. Your police training officer is going to make sure you're doing things safely and appropriately. And then the more that you sort of develop over those 15 sets, the more you're going to be doing on your own and starting to utilize that information that you learned in Block 1.
All right, so there is post-foundational assessment and development that occurs here within your first year, so the 12-month and again at the 16-month mark. Okay, we're gonna do things like revisit your hard skills. So for example, your firearms, sometimes it's driver training, all that kind of stuff, and assess competency. So what is stuck with you, hopefully everything has. You'll learn that in policing, you can never train too much. There is also a probation period, so it's 18 months from the end of Block 1 training, okay? And there is an ongoing assessment and yearly review throughout the rest of your career with your supervisor, focusing on obviously your development and just being better every day.
So how can you prepare? So we talked about those BDI workshops. There's also an APREP orientation for that physical fitness test that you can go and do and run through the course, run through the beep test so you can see what that's like before you actually go do your test. You can register for those workshops and those orientations on joineps.ca. The other orientation we offer is the push-pull machine and the arm restraint machine. That's every other Wednesday. You can come in, register online for that and come in and practice that as well before you have to go do your APREP. We also have our Run with Your Recruiter events. So we run those every Monday evening. They're free. It's a free event for you to come and attend. You don't have to be in the application process. Every Monday evening from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock at Northwest Division, every Thursday morning from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock at our Turf Training Center. So you can come on out. We do a fun workout, body weight exercise, and usually some cardio. It's a way to improve your fitness. It doesn't matter what level of fitness you start at with us, but just come on out. Maybe you've never run before and you want to start getting into it and you're looking at putting an application in a few years. But yeah, all we ask is that you push yourself, try your hardest. It's a great spot to network with other people who are in the application process, as well as recruiters and members of the selection section here with the Edmonton Police Service. So we're there to answer questions that you have. You can ask questions from our backgrounders, our file managers, our recruiters. So it's just a great networking event, an opportunity for you to learn what you can do better or what you can do to help yourself through our recruiting process. Registration is required for those events, but they are free events that you can attend. So just a quick video on what our Run with the Recruiters are like.
1 down, 1, 2 down.
What started as a small group gathering a decade ago has grown to this.
You know what, this is quite the thing now where we're getting 8,500 people, and I started with 2, so.
Hundreds of EPS hopefuls working out alongside current and past members. The Run with Recruiters program began organically in 2012 after a relationship was formed between a few off-duty officers and some students.
When I was in recruiting, we all had portfolios, and one of my portfolios was the Grant McEwen portfolio. So they had the investigative studies and the police studies courses. I just told the marketing guy at that time, hey, put on the website that I'm going for Run if anybody wants to join.
You know, it was really a happy accident. We had recruit selection members who were exercising, running through the river valley, and a few Grant McEwen students, McEwen University students, noticed that the link between these recruiters running and exercising, and they thought, well, we're in the policing program, let's exercise with them.
The program gives aspiring EPS members a head start and a taste of what is required during the recruitment process. Not exactly a walk in the park.
I remember the first time kind of knew what to expect, and I knew I was either going to throw up or faint. And one of them actually happened. So yeah, I ended up throwing up.
I have not applied yet, but if it does come to the point where I am a recruit, I can definitely take the skills and all of the physical activity that I've done within the Run with Recruiters to very much benefit me.
The ability to network is also key. Participants can meet and learn from active members while being put through their paces.
You get to network, you get to meet other people, you get to chat with people. It's just an awesome opportunity.
What started as a so-called happy accident is now a crucial stepping stone for the Edmonton Police Service.
I'm going to say that we were the first to do something like this. You gotta help people make their goals, and that's what it was intended to do.
All right, so your next steps, prepare and register to write the written exam. So you must pass the APCAT before applying online. Okay, once you're successful with the APCAT, you will go to apply.now.apats.ca and create a profile there. And start volunteering. You don't need a uniform to help the community. Like Constable Johnson said, we're not looking for hundreds of hours by any means. Just kind of step outside of your comfort zone, find something that kind of aligns with you, obviously, and put some time back into your community.
Edmonton, a city powered by people and driven by purpose. And at its heart, the Edmonton Police Service. Relentless on crime and committed to community, we are driven by compassion and courage. This is your call to serve, where everyday people become trusted leaders. It's a career with meaning, facing real challenges and having real impact. You'll protect and build bridges. You'll lead and change lives. EPS is shaping the future of policing with cutting-edge technology, smart, data-driven decisions, and above all, extraordinary people. Step into a career that offers limitless opportunities, follow your passion, and forge your own path. Join a team built on integrity, courage, and community. We are the next generation of policing. We are EPS.